Ever felt like your brain just clicks after a good coding session? Today was one of those days. From new project sparks to untangling some tricky LeetCode, let's dive in. This is day 46 of coding every day until I hit 1K subs. It's day 46. Started some new small projects and then hit LeetCode. Let's see what happened. First up, I kicked off a new repository for my personal resume. Nothing much in there yet, just the initial setup. It's always good to have a dedicated place for that. Then, I got a bit creative and started a placeholder for a crashout photography idea I've been mulling over. For now, it's just a super simple page to mark its existence. This is what the initial placeholder page looks like, just a title and a quick to-do list. I also made a quick update to this to-do, specifically noting to change logo file. Small steps, but it's a start. After those project setups, I switched gears to LeetCode. Got 3 problems done today. First up was painting a grid with 3 different colors. Spoiler alert, this one involves figuring out how many ways you can color an M by N grid using 3 colors, red, green, or blue, such that no 2 adjacent cells, up, down, left, or right, have the same color. The first part of the solution focuses on pre-calculating all valid ways to color a single row of cells. It uses a base 3 representation for the colors and iterates through all possibilities, filtering out any row colorings where adjacent cells within that same row have the same color. These valid single-row patterns are then stored for quick lookup. Next, the solution builds a relationship map. This map, let's call it, determines which of those valid single-row colorings can be legally placed one on top of another in adjacent rows. Essentially, for any 2 pre-calculated valid row patterns, it checks if all cells in the same column would have different colors if these 2 rows were stacked. Finally, the core dynamic programming logic processes the grid column by column for columns. For each column, it calculates the number of ways to color it by summing up the counts from all compatible previous column colorings, using that map to ensure vertical color constraints are met. The total count is accumulated modulo a large prime. The overall approach has a time complexity related to n times 3 to the power of m, plus pre-computation, and space complexity proportional to 3 to the power of m, where m is rows and n is columns. Next problem was sort colors. This one's a classic. You're given an array with numbers representing red, white, or blue, 0, 1, or 2, and the task is to sort them in place, so all zeros come first, then ones, then twos. For this sorting problem, I used the Dutch national flag algorithm. This method employs 3 pointers, and, to partition the array into sections for zeros, ones, and twos all in a single pass. When the pointer finds a 0, it's swapped with the element at. If it finds a 2, it's swapped with ones are skipped over by. This achieves order n time complexity, where n is the number of elements, and order 1, or constant, space, because it's all done in place. Last LeetCode problem for the day was 0 array transformation y. Here, you get an array of numbers and a list of queries. Each query defines a range, and for each query you can select a subset of indices within that range and decrement their values by 1. The goal is to see if it's possible to make all elements in the array 0 after processing all queries. This problem was solved using a difference array technique. For each query specifying a range where decrements can happen, we mark the maximum potential operations, incrementing a counter at the start of the range, and decrementing it just after the end. By then iterating through this difference array, and accumulating these markers using a prefix sum, we find the total maximum number of decrement operations available for each original array element. If, for any element, this maximum available count is less than its initial value, the transformation to all zeros is impossible. The time complexity is order n plus q, where n is the array size, and q is number of queries, and space is order n. And that's a wrap for day 46, some project scaffolding, and a good trio of LeetCode problems. If you enjoyed this, or have any thoughts on the solutions, definitely drop a like, subscribe if you haven't, and comment below. Maybe suggest a LeetCode problem for a future video. You can also support the channel over at buymeaboba.com, link in the description. Catch you in the next one.